Welcome back. It's been about a week since I've been on here, and things continue to move at a rapid pace. They have, I don't know if they've done it yet, but what's been dominating the news is the removal of this, Title 42, that has dramatically slowed down the surge at our border. But like I said, these people are hell-bent on following the plans of the evil one. I don't know if you remember in the book of Genesis, after sin came into the world, when God said, let us go down and see what man is doing. And they were at the Tower of Babel, and they were building that tower all the way up to heaven. But God had already said the way in which you are to get to heaven. He demonstrated that when sin came into the world by the slaying of that lamb and covering their sins with that lamb skin, which is symbolic of us, in Jesus Christ, dying, taking our sins upon him, and we being covered by his blood, the robes of righteousness. But anyway, they were building this tower all the way to heaven. And God said, man are one. Let us confound the language. And they confounded the language. And I'm saying they because it was the Father and the Son. Contrary to some of these weird beliefs, that Jesus is made up and he didn't show up until the New Testament. No, he has been there and has always been there with the Father. So they confounded the language, and the people could no longer understand each other. And so they dispersed and went to various parts of the world. Those who could understand each other, they grouped together, they became tribes, what have you. And so today, as I continue to say that these weird people that has been termed the elite, they have their Parliament building over there in the EU that is a complete replica of the unfinished tower of the Tower of Babel. And their motto is one nation, one tongue, one people. So the spiritual warfare is real. I don't know how many videos you watch, but I continue to try to mention these spiritual things to get you to see beyond what is transpiring in our world today, because it's all coming to an end. We see all of these movies that they make that's about the end game and things of that nature. No, the real end game is when Jesus Christ returns to this earth and take us home. And I hope you, whoever's watching this video, is prepared for that. Don't get caught up in the things of the world. People think it's fun to go to the club, and I don't mean to be on here preaching. I came on here to say something else, but your soul, your final destination is important to me. There was a time that I didn't even like people. But when you get close to God and give your life to God, you go through that ceremony of baptism, you take on his spirit, you get a love for human beings, and you see the path that they're traveling, where it's leading, and you want them to be saved. So this is why I continue to try to mention something like that on each of my videos, to get you to think, because they show us all this on YouTube, how these people are getting rich off YouTube, money, cars, big houses. But all this stuff is going to burn. Those things mean nothing, unless you have the Lord Jesus Christ. Everything on this earth is temporal and is coming to an end. True life is when we start living in the new earth that will be made new, when it's rid of sin, and it shall not rise up again a second time. Hell and death will be destroyed in the lake of fire. But anyway, these people are going to do what they're going to do. because they're motivated by the spirit of the enemy, Satan, who was known as Lucifer, who was a covering cherub that stood on the throne of God, a covering cherub staring at God, all that glory and majesty. Got jealous in his heart of the Son and thought that he would take heaven. That was the first war that broke out in heaven. And Jesus said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from the sky. And here we are today. Things are drawing to a close. And these things are speeding up. The devil is motivating these people to push. The Great Reset. Borderless countries. An influx of people from all these different countries. We see people from Africa, Haiti, Cuba, the Middle East, all at our border here in Texas. And that is their thing. They do not want sovereign nations, which is, again, contrary to the will of God. I don't know if you remember when the children of Israel came out of captivity and God was talking through Nehemiah, and Ezra about this building of the wall. They went to their homes and they wasn't concerned about that wall. And so he spoke to Ezra and get them people to get a fire up under them. And there they were building that wall. One sword in the hand and building the wall, So yes, God believed in borders. That's how the people were protected from these marauding tribes that was coming out, against the city. Yet these crazy people today that call themselves elite, that has, took power, they don't want us to have borders, but you see them constantly building borders around their homes, living in gated communities. But us who live in the hood, they want us to defund the police and be watching over our shoulder, dying every day like we in a war zone. Okay, enough of that. Back to what's taking place today in these current events. Every eye is on Ukraine. And now I am so glad that people are waking up. When this thing first started, they are so good with their propaganda. You see the people, oh, we must stand with Ukraine. Look at Zelensky. He's the modern day Winston Churchill. Please. That man is a puppet. And he is out there urging, showing up at the Grammys, showing up everywhere, trying to get whoever to listen. Why is he doing that? It's because what they are telling you on the news, how they are holding back Russia and they're doing this, they're keeping them at bay. No, if that was the case, he would not be, going before all of these countries trying to get help. Putin has already taken Mariupol. I heard the other day that at least over 250 Ukrainian soldiers had surrendered to Putin. Putin has all of their gold, their money, so this is why the elite is stressing. Because they had set up things over there in Ukraine that Putin has seized. And now the private Western Central Bank, their system is being destroyed. They're pushing us to their Great Reset, this digital currency where if we dare to speak, which we have seen in Canada, they will cut your money off. You would not be able to eat. But there's another system going on. The blockchain and Bitcoin, which they are trying to heavily block, because that represents freedom. Freedom outside of the private Western Central Bank who wants to control every aspect of our lives. And that is the spirit of Satan. That spirit of tyranny is the spirit of Satan. God gives man free choice. But these people, like I said, they are motivated by the evil one. So they are carrying out his plans for these final day events. And it will come to pass because it is spoken of in prophecy. In Revelation chapter 13. They call it the mark of the beast in the Bible. These people are calling it the Great Reset. And it's all spiritual. Some aspects of it just haven't come to fruition yet, because we are still waiting on that man of sin to come out and profess to take away, all the struggles of the world. Like Jesus said, be cautious when they say peace, peace, and safety, because sudden destruction will come. But yes, my friends, all you have to do is wait. When they come out with these reports, if you're still watching mainstream media, just give it a couple of days. Give it a couple of days. Go do your research online. DuckDuckGo. Do not use Google search engines. And you will find the truth. Now DuckDuckGo, somehow they done got swept up, and they're starting to remove stuff. So eventually there will be a famine of truth in the land. But you must continue to be prayed up, because these things are going to take place. If God said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Trust and believe it is unfolding before our very eyes. Okay, sorry about that. I had to make some more space on this card. I still haven't received another card. I got to go over there to Best Buy. But anyway, back to what I was saying. These people will not stop. They're pushing towards their goal, their mark, to get us under that New World Order, one world system, where they can track and monitor us, have control over our money by their digital currency system. But there's another system, the Bitcoin, the blockchain. And if they fail, I believe all these countries will go back to their nation's currency. Like us, we will have the US dollar again, which is backed by gold. Right now we're on this fiat money, which is backed by nothing. It is called a Federal Reserve note. It is a debt instrument of debt. Each time our Congress borrow this money, they charge us in taxes to pay on this money they printed out of thin air. And that's for every country they have dominated and controlled all over the world. By the grace of God, I don't know. Maybe God will have mercy on us and spare us, because he is long suffering and he don't want anybody to be lost. So do not squander the time that he gives you, because tomorrow is not promised. People make plans like, oh, I'll think about getting saved, giving my life to God, maybe in a year or two. You might not have that time. Some people say that and go out and get killed in a car accident, get hit by a stray bullet. You can be laying in your bed and get hit by a bullet. Do not play with your soul. Okay. Back to this Great Reset and where they are pushing us. We are hearing also in the news about these shortages. Now, you trust in God, you don't have to hoard food, but he wants you to use your mind. I myself, I got one of those packets from 4 Patriots. It's about a 3 months food supply. I got the vegetarian pack because I don't really eat meat. And each pack within that container, I think they say it has life. It can last at least up to 25 years. But anyway, they were talking about food disappearing on the shelves. Food are not going to be on the shelves. I don't know if you was in them toilet paper lines the last time they was talking about this pandemic, but that crap was not fun. So I made it a point since then. All of my shelves are stocked, because one thing we have in common, people want to wipe their butt when they do the number 2. Man, I put in a fresh battery and this battery is dying already. So let me change this battery and then I'll finish up, because I'm kind of rambling on. Hold on one more second. Focus. Okay, let me finish up because I don't have no more batteries. This is the last battery. This is the most important thing with these evil men. Let me just share with you Proverbs 30 verse 12. It says, there is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. Proverbs 28:5. Evil men understand not judgment. But they that seek the Lord understand all things. But what I can testify today about today is the children of the world, like Jesus said, is smarter than the children of the light. And this is why I had to tune out for a couple of weeks from my Christian radio station, because they were parroting the things that I was hearing on mainstream media. They are supposed to have discernment, but they do not. And they have been falling in line with what is being reported. But every aspect of these little social medias, websites, stations, or what have you, have been compromised in some way, form, or fashion. So I am not surprised that some of these things where I think should be saying something different. Some of it is out of ignorance, and then some of it they have plants in all these different places, you know. But as far as like what we have to deal with today, with having to learn to live with this virus, you know, this is not medical advice. Let me make sure I state that, because I do not want to get another strike or be told that I violated community guidelines. You can go to your local grocery store. I go to Kroger's. You can get a vitamin supplement called elderberry. It has zinc, vitamin C, and D. Elderberry, there's another, if you have a herb mart, there's a whole little container that's for sambucas. Sambucas is good for mucus and things of that nature, to take care of that naturally. See, God had given us everything through the herbs, you know, in the Garden of Eden, you know. And still today you could go to places that, like I have a book that can cure almost anything by juicing. It tells you everything and what to mix together in a juicer to heal certain ailments, like people struggle with arthritis, you know, a whole lot of different things, you know, that you could do through juicing. Autoimmune deficiencies through juicing, you know, going on a raw diet, get away from all these additives that's in the food. But here I go on another tangent. Well, my friends, I hope this video makes sense and you are able to glean from some of the things that I said, and I hope it was beneficial to you. I pray that God keeps you throughout this week, keep you safe, stay prayed up. You know, you pray for me, and I'm going to continue to pray for you, for your well-being, for your soul, that if you have not made that decision, that you will come to that decision, you know, because tomorrow is not promised. And that's how I'm going to end it, and I will see you on the next one.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!